Hi everybody, I'm Ron Cantor and you're watching Out of Zion on God TV. And today we're on top of Mount Carmel. And Mount Carmel is famous for the story of Elijah the prophet. We can find it in 1 Kings 18. It starts with Elijah after a 3.5-year period where through his word the heavens were shut, there was no rain, Ahab and Jezebel were furious, and Elijah comes upon a fellow by the name of Obadiah. Obadiah is a great guy, he loves the Lord. He actually's hidden 100 true prophets from Jezebel. Well, Elijah says to Obadiah, I want you to go find Ahab and tell him to meet me. And Obadiah says, what have I done that you would have me do this? You know, I'm going to go to Ahab and we're going to come back here and who knows where the Spirit of God is going to lead you. And he's going to kill me. And Elijah says, no, it's fine. I'm going to be here. Go get him. So Obadiah goes and he finds Ahab and he says, I found Elijah. And he brings him there. Now, you got to understand something about Ahab. Ahab has become somewhat of an adjective in our day and age, right? You can talk about somebody and say, oh, he's an Ahab. What does that mean? That means he has a title, he has authority, but he's intimidated by people under his authority. In the case of Ahab, he was submitted to Queen Jezebel. And even when he finds Elijah, he's looking for him for 3.5 years. You would think he would have killed him right there, but he basically submits to Elijah. Let's read. Verse 16 says that, or rather 17, when Ahab saw Elijah, he said to him, is that you troubler of Israel? Come on, Ahab, is that the best you can do? You know, he's not really a man of authority, but Elijah responds, I have not made trouble for Israel, Elijah replied, but you and your father's family have. You have abandoned the Lord's commands and have followed the Baals. Now Elijah challenges him to bring all the false prophets to meet him here on Mount Carmel, and they're going to have an old-fashioned showdown. Now all these prophets come and they make an altar and they put a bull on it and they begin to cry out to their false gods. Nothing happens. They cry out louder and louder. Nothing happens. And you know, pagan worship can get downright ugly. They begin to cut themselves and do all kinds of crazy, creepy stuff. Nothing happens, and Elijah begins to taunt them. Now, I don't believe taunting the enemy is a wise thing to do. In our next episode from Mount Carmel, I'll explain why. But he does that, and finally he says, you know what? Let me have my turn. So Elijah repairs the altar of Israel. He makes 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. And then he says, I want you to bring water. He basically builds a moat around the altar. And he says, bring 4 jars of water. They fill it up. He says, no, bring more. A third time, he says, bring water. Now, there's been no rain for 3.5 years, and he's filling this thing up with water. Not to mention, it makes it a lot harder to light the sacrifice. But then he cries out to God, and God answers by fire, licking up not only all of the water, but burning the entire sacrifice. And look at the response of the people. When all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and cried, the Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. Now that should have been the beginning of a great revival in Israel. In our next episode, I'm going to explain why it wasn't. Now make sure you go to God.tv so you never miss an episode. And you can find me at roncantor.com. Shalom from the hills of Mount Carmel.
Please follow Ron on Twitter and Facebook at Ron S. Cantor to find out more about Ron and his ministry. For more information on God TV and the Out of Zion programs, or to view these programs again, go to god.tv/Zion.